Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to City Skylines. Now, we're losing people. We're losing people quite quickly. I did bump up the tax rates. That seems to have cost us 1,700 people in the last week alone. Quite sure why. Low land value. Why have we got seriously? 2,600 people in a single week. Alright, let's drop that back down to 9% again and see if that's going to make a difference. Obviously, people don't like that tax rate that I introduced. It was an emergency measure, but it didn't seem to have it doesn't seem to have paid off. So we'll drop that back down to 9% for everybody. 6,000 people. We've lost 6,000 people in a single week because it walloped into the into the land values, apparently. That's not quite so good. So we're now losing 42 grand a week, which is not really helping the situation. We were busy switching everything off, and we were making money, and we actually got it to profit again. That was the wonderful thing. We were actually making a profit. We'd actually gotten all the way back up, and we were spinning a profit, and now it's all 17,000 people. How have we lost 17,000 people in one single move? Surely that can't all just be because I upped the tax rate a little bit. That's insane. That is absolutely ludicrous. Okay, I thought we were doing well. I genuinely did. I was congratulating myself, and I really thought that we'd made some decent progress, and yeah, apparently not. Apparently it was just all just for show. We haven't made any progress at all. We're losing 100,000, another 18,000. This is insane. Land value everywhere across the entire map has suddenly plummeted, and it's got to be because of the tax. It's got to be that tax thing. I can't see that it would be anything else. Right, well, let's just make sure that we go through and switch off everything here that can also be switched off. Just in case there is anything here that... There's more stuff here that needs to be switched off than I realized, to be honest. But anyway, we are going to lose 150 grand a week for a little bit while longer because we've suddenly gone from 100,000 people down to 35,000. In the blink of an eye, I put the tax rate up by 3%, and we've lost 65,000 people instantly. Just like that. Just a quick click of your fingers, and 65,000 people have just turned around and fled the city. They're like rats from a sinking ship. They really are. It's despicable. It makes me sick. Anyway, we're going to try and get things back on track, and I did say that I was seriously considering filling up the lake again and not going for just ignoring this lot over here for a minute, and we're filling up the great big lake again in order to try this once more, but try it slightly differently this time. We want to make sure that we've got a couple of DRUs, disaster response units. So we have one DRU up there and another DRU all the way over this side of the city, up on the mountain over here, or maybe up here somewhere, so that they can come down and they can like rescue the city, because they're going to be the only ones that are going to survive, really. We are going to still have issues with like power and that, but I think that we should be alright. I mean, obviously one of the big issues that we've had is the money as well. So we're going to want to try to make sure that we've got a reasonable reserve of cash if we try to do this again. And so it's quite a long-term sort of thing. We're going to want to build up cash. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it, to be honest. We're back to losing 160,000 a week instantly because of the whole tax thing. We were doing well. We were doing extremely well, and then suddenly everybody's just rushed off. Abandoned ship. And I'm disappointed. I am very disappointed in the community spirit of everybody here, or lack thereof. There is a distinct lack of community spirit in our city here, and I feel let down by the people. I really do. I feel that the people of the city have let me down. And after I've done so much for them as well, I've really looked after them. I built them a massive, great big city, and then I drowned them all in poop. And you'd think they'd be a little bit grateful, really, wouldn't you? One other thing. I have talked about previously stopping this series for a while and going off and doing something else. And a lot of people said that they don't really want me to. They'd like me to stay here. However, we're approaching 100 episodes here in Cities Skylines. I think 100 episodes is about enough to, you know, run a series for any particular length of time. So I've been thinking about this. I have been umming and ahhing about whether I should do this, and I've decided that I am going to take a break shortly after we reach 100 episodes. I don't know if it will be exactly 100 or if we, you know, we play for a few more episodes. There are a couple of other games that I'd like to take a look at. One of them has just come out, and that is called Thief Simulator, so I don't know what you think of that one. There's another one that is coming out very soon, which is Cooking Simulator, and it does actually look quite good. I've been sent a demo for that one, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but I've been keeping an eye on like trailers and stuff that have come out for this game, and it does look quite interesting. So have a look at Cooking Simulator and see what you might think of that one, whether we could use that one as a replacement for this series. I will run a poll on, probably not on this episode, maybe on, well, actually I might stick a poll on this episode and see what game you'd like me to replace this one with. And we will come back to this. We will come back, but I'm getting to the point where I think I need to take a break. Otherwise, it's just, I'm just going to lose interest in this completely, and then everything's just going to go downhill from there. So yeah, I am getting to the point where I need to take a break from this. So I figure if we take the break, then we can come back to it, and we can have another go later on. Why have you got no power? Seriously, why have you got no... Oh! Power line there is now disconnected, which means all of that has now got no power at all. That's not very useful. So there is that, there's Cooking Simulator, there is Thief Simulator, and then I also did suggest previously that I could go and look at that new game, not new game, the Civilization one. I bought the Civilization on sale. I can't remember which one it is, though. It's one of the Civilization games. I bought it. I did announce about it. Fanatical ran a sale on it. And so I bought it as well. And there's... It looks quite good. It does look interesting. It's another city building game. So if you'd prefer a city building game over a straight simulator, then that might be the choice for you. But yeah, I am planning to take a break from this game now. I'm sort of reached the point where I do need to, otherwise we are going to just, it's just going to get really dull and boring here. And we're going to come back. Don't worry, we will come back. I would like to come back to this game because I still want to build up another great big lake full of poop and drown everybody and see if we can actually do it without having to get the federal aid thing coming in. So, yeah, I will do it. I will do it on this episode. I will post a poll on this episode, and you can tell me in the comments section as well your views and opinions on this. If you think this is a terrible idea and that I should just stay here and do another 100 episodes, let me know, right? I want to know what your views and opinions and thoughts on me leaving this series for a while are. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think this is the worst idea I've yet come out with? Do you think this is even worse than the idea of drowning everybody in my city and then hoping that we could actually bring it back from the brink? Look, we're now going up. We dropped by 70,000 people, and only now are we starting to recover. All because of 3% tax. Seriously, 3% tax. That was actually, it put me back into the black on the budget. I was actually making money. And then you all left the city. You all abandoned me. And it was so mean of you. I didn't like it. So, at the moment, those are the three options. If I think of anything else, I will add some more. But at the moment, we're looking at, what are those? What did I say? Cooking Simulator, Thief Simulator, or the Civilization game. And I honestly, I can't remember which Civilization it was. It was one of them. was definitely one of the Civilization games, but I cannot for the life of me remember which one. It's really bugging me now. I'm gonna have to try and find out fairly soon. I will know once we get into the once we actually have the thing up and running. I will know which one it was, and I will be able to let you know. So it'll be a choice in the options. It'll be in the poll. Don't worry, it'll be there. So we've now reached a point where our population is starting to increase again. But we lost 70,000 people almost instantly when I raised the taxes. And really sure what to do about that. Whether we should just leave the taxes as they are and let the people slowly dribble back, or if we should increase the taxes anyway and just see if we can do it the second time round. I'm thinking maybe we ought to leave it as it is. It'd be a little bit more sensible. We've got a post office right there, and we've got... no. Right. We've also got over here toll roads. And somebody said, why don't I just have the tolls up at maximum? And I'm thinking right now, that's probably a good idea. So we are going to increase all of our tolls up to maximum. We're going to get every single penny that we can out of these people. If they want to come into the city or leave the city, by all means, they can. But they're going to have to pay for it. So if we go that one there, we've got another one all the way over here somewhere. Nope, it's not on the trains. There isn't a toll for the trains, actually. And nope, it's all the way back. There it is. There it is. We want that one all the way up, and that one all the way up as well. I didn't have it quite at maximum because I thought, oh well, you know, if we dial it down a little bit, maybe that would be a good thing. Maybe it would sort of encourage people to like come through. Maybe they'd be slightly more likely to come through if we didn't have it quite up to maximum. But that turned out not to be the case. So I've got an incineration plant there. I didn't even realise that. It's there. That's the end of line cable car. Our industrial district seems to have vanished. We had a great big industrial district here for a little while, and it now seems to have all disappeared. And I'm thinking that is also to do... we're back up to 30,000 people. So we're slowly rebuilding. It's going to take a little while. We've got another high school right there. And what is that one? That is an elementary school. See, I keep switching these things off. We're back to losing 200,000 a week. This is just obscene. It is absolutely, utterly and totally obscene, the amount of money that we are losing right now. As a sports hall and gymnasium, there's 1,200 that I can save. Crematorium there, and a community pool right there. That one is a post office. They've come over to Poorside now. All the helicopters have come over this side. So we're now able to start finding out where all of these buildings are without having to click on every single one to find out which ones we want to switch off. It'd be really cool if there was a mod that would automatically stop charging you for anything like this. That would make our lives a lot easier. We wouldn't have to sort of search through and switch them all off. If they're collapsed, they automatically stop charging you money. I think that would be so much easier. Still, this is what we've got, so this is what we'll deal with. We'll slowly go through. Just make sure that they're all switched off. See, these are already off. What are you? Crematorium right there. And then we've got a post office there. Park with trees. Hospital right there is another 1,200. I'm going through, I'm switching off all of these different things, but at the moment, the money doesn't seem to have changed very much. The money seems to have stayed pretty much the same all the way through, which is not very reassuring, all things considered, because we've already shut down so many different things. We're starting to rebuild now here in Poorside, and that does give me hope. So what do you think? In the comment section, what do you think of the idea of moving to a different simulator type of game, or do you want me to stay with a city builder? Do you want to have a, like, pretty much a guaranteed city builder type game here on the channel, so that you've got something to watch, whether it's this or something different? You know, I said I'm moving to a different game. We've got the Civilization game. There were a couple of other suggestions. Actually, the other one. Do you remember the Colonists? I did a very brief look at the Colonists. It kind of had a very strong Settlers 2 feel about it. I mean, the Settlers in general, but Settlers 2 in particular. It had that strong sort of feeling of Settlers 2 about it. And quite a few people who watched, I only did like one quick look at the game, but quite a few people said that you'd like me to do an actual series on it. Now that's kind of halfway between City Builder and something else. Maybe I could I think I'll include that one as a possible replacement for this series. Because quite a lot of people did ask me if I'd be able to do a full series on that one. So we could bring that one in as a replacement here, because I know that there are a few people who watched this series that also were interested in that one. So maybe we'll give you 4 options. You've got Thief Simulator and Cooking Simulator, which are 2 complete simulator games rather than anything different. And then we've got a city game, which is the Civilization one. And then there's one other, which is kind of like a cross between a city builder and city-type management, settlement management type thing. I don't know. I really know how you describe it. Settlers is how I would describe it. It's just the Settlers. I love Settlers too. It was one of my I still play that game on a fairly regular basis, the Settlers 2. I think it is such a beautiful, wonderful little game. And it never really grows old. I mean, if I play it, I'll sit and play it for maybe a couple of hours, and then I'll leave it for a month or 2. Because I know the game inside out and upside down. I know there's like the strategies to employ for different things. So like the gameplay doesn't give me that much variation on that particular game, but this one is different. This is a different game to Settlers 2. So there's new things to do in it. There's different things to do. There's new things to experience. The Cathedral of Plenitude. Did those 14 visitors bring me 720 last week? There's only one way to find out. We need to go tourism. They brought me 1,800, 2,000 in a week. I get 2,000 a week from tourism. The Grand Mall costs me 640. That one cost me 480, and that one cost me 720. We're switching them off. Tourism is not worth it. Certainly not at the moment, anyway. And that one there is 160 in the tax office. It's definitely not worth it. 160 for that one. See, that one's quite limited, but still. The aquarium's 160. The expo center is 800. That one can go. That one's already off, the high interest tower. People are getting miserable over here, so that probably we're going to have a land value hit again, because they're all rather difficult about that. Got another elementary school. Got a medical clinic there for 200. You know, I ought to turn on at least one of these. I'll turn the science center on, and that's going to keep them a little bit happy, I guess. Crematorium right there. I think these... No. Okay, I've got a lot of buildings turning up here that I thought I'd already switched off. Apparently I have not. Another elementary building right there. Still 170. The number's going up really slowly. They soon abandoned ship. It was like rats from a sinking ship, wasn't it? They're just whoosh, gone. And now they're taking a sweet time to come. We spent so long building our numbers back up. Very disappointed with the overall performance of this city. Very disappointed with how these people have repaid our kindness. I gave them all a bath, for goodness sake. I gave them a wonderful, wonderful bath, and this is how they repay me. Right, that one's 160, so that's quite cheap. That one's 200, that's borderline. I think we get rid of that one for a minute. 480, that one's got to go. That one there at 600, that one's got to go as well. So, yes, it is going to make them a little bit more miserable, but too bad. Yeah, we're now getting land value hits over here. They're going to have to take the land value hits, I think. I'm just going to leave the land value hits. I'm not going to worry about that, because we've got plenty of people coming back in elsewhere in the city, and they're rebuilding elsewhere in the city. I got a lot of people moving back into Portside now. I've got a lot of people moving back in over here. We've got the sea and skyscraper. See, that one's only 160. That one's not too bad. I think we can cope with that one. We're down 90 million. Seriously, 90 million monies in the hole. That's just... That's properly ludicrous, that is. Seriously, how are you supposed to get back from 90 million down? I don't think we can. Well, actually, I do think we can. I just think it's going to take such an obscene amount of time that it's actually not really going to be worth it. I think we might have to just, like, artificially add in a load of funds. Right here. Oh, well, that station I switched off anyway. But no, we've got no power up here. I've got no power anywhere. I've got... Yeah, because the power from up here, this goes over to this side. And then it comes down here. Joins in over this side. So until they rebuild a house right there, it's pretty close, look. Right, it's right there. So that they're avoiding the only bit with the power, with the pylon. And I'm minus 91 million, so I've got no way of doing anything about it. Which is rather heartbreaking, to be honest. Can I... I'm just trying to think, is there a way to encourage more people to move back faster? Maybe I should drop the taxes a little bit more. Maybe that is the only way to do it. Commercial zones right now. Public transportation is bringing in. Toll bridges, small vehicles. See, we're getting 1,000 monies per month, per week coming in with the tolls. I got another toll bridge over here somewhere. There we go. Toll bridge, not toll bridge. Just tolls. There. And jump that one up as well. There we go. Yeah. Small park. What are you? You're Bouncy Castle Park. So we've got some low land value still in places, but generally people are moving back in. They're slowly, like, getting through all of these different residences and rebuilding them as well. I'm just going to leave them as they are and let the people rebuild. Like, over here, in this district here, they are rebuilding, and they're rebuilding it quite fast as well. So we're slowly getting there. It's just, I'm wondering if I should drop this down to, like, 5% tax. But the only problem I've got with that is our budget. I've already lowered everything down as low as I can. I am wondering if dropping these numbers down was part of what reduced everything. Maybe I ought to pull these all back up to 100. Let me pull these back up to 100, and then we'll see if that makes any significant changes. Right, I've pulled everything back to 100, just about. Bring that one back up to there. One more to alter there, and... Oh, the monorail. Right, well, the monorail can stay down. We'll leave the monorail exactly as it is. And... yeah, all we've done is we've increased our budget. Although... it looks like we are getting more people coming in now. Right, the people are now coming back. The number of trains available depends on the budget. I guess that would affect it. And then, obviously, we've got all of these facilities over here. That's now plus 700. Yeah. Right, I don't think I've helped the situation very much. All I've done is, like, we do have people moving back in at an increased rate, but the weekly income has now dropped even further. A substantial further. Not just a little bit further, but substantial amount further. And that's really not helping matters, is it? We don't want that. We've got disconnected power grids everywhere. Let's drop the road budgets down again. And see what that does. We just want to watch the road budget for a minute, and we'll see how that sort of filters in. It doesn't seem to make very much difference. The actual road budget there, that's road maintenance and snow dump services. It's very, very minimal impact on the overall expenditure. It's these over here. This is the impact on the expenditure. This is the proper impact over here. Raising the budget for healthcare allows facilities to have more vehicles at their disposal. And I think it's the healthcare thing that mostly does it. I've already got people, you know, well, the number's about the same. Doesn't seem to... Why is it... I don't get why it's not changing. This is one thing that does frustrate me about this game at the moment, is that... you can't see where the issues are. You're very, very limited on being able to see what the budget is and see what the causes are. I know that we've got like a lot of look, apparently people are really happy. Commercial happiness. They're not particularly happy over here. And industrial, see, they're happy here. These people seem happy. Over this way. There's a few miserable people over here. But generally they're pretty pleased. So why did you suddenly change? What was it about this building here? Oh, it's nobody in there. There's nobody. It's mainly because it's empty. Okay, so let's have a look at health right here. So here's our health overlay and where the health is getting to. How people are being covered by it. And at the moment, they seem fairly happy by it. So what I'm thinking is, like, we've got we've got the community pool there. We've got the sports hall and gymnasium. We've got the hospital down there. So what I'm thinking is that those are all switched off. We can then go back into the budget. And healthcare, I'm going to drop that down. Like that. I'm going to drop that down to 50%. And I'm going to see what that does. So we've immediately started to get a significant impact on the budget, actually. That one has changed by quite a bit. It was 10 grand difference there. The number of people moving into the city is slowing down. No, actually, it doesn't seem to have altered all that much. But the budget is... the money here is dropping. Money on that one particular fund there is dropped down by a significant amount. Which is significant over here as well. This is a good thing. Okay, 32,640 it's now dropped down to. And that has reduced accordingly as well. So then if we go back here... right, now our problem is that everything... we don't have healthcare. Right, there's no healthcare there. Healthcare over here is extremely limited. This is why everybody left. It's because I reduced the budgets and then it did this. That's why everybody left. So let's go back here and we'll move the healthcare to... let's try putting healthcare at 75%. And 75% on there. Let's see what that does. We go back onto here. It's already pushing the numbers up a little bit. And it's pushing the coverage up as well. Okay, so... my frustration with the game was because I didn't understand the game. So we know now that we're going to have to... the healthcare, really, we need to keep that at 100. Because if we don't, the healthcare coverage is not going to be sufficient. And people are going to get really annoyed with us. So we're just going to have to... wear that one. That one we can take. And then, what do we got here? This is cable cars. Right, they can be reduced. And then this one here, this one can be reduced as well. That one can drop back down. Taxis. Taxis, it really doesn't matter on taxis. That one doesn't do anything, that one doesn't do anything. Trains, I'm leaving trains as they are for a minute. Industry areas, higher budget increases extractors, processing buildings, and unique factories' production rate, as well as allowing them to house more vehicles. And we'll leave that for a minute. And then we've got here, unique buildings do better with more funding. Well, I got 10,000 worth of funding on there. So, people are happy, they're moving in, and it's bumped up. Now, as soon as I increase the medical care available, people are now moving in. So, let's go and have a look at the unique buildings. Terrain heights, districts. Where are unique buildings? That might actually be under the whole entertainment thing, which is leisure right there, isn't it? Yeah. So, you got unique buildings there. And it's literally just, you can see, like, the red housing and the non-red housing. So we've got a whole load of black ones right here. Probably it would have been better if I just looked at these in the first place. I could have seen which ones we want to be switching on and off. So we don't have very much up here in James Collins in a way of access to these buildings. But for the most part, it's pretty good. So we've got a friendly neighborhood park there. I'll switch that one off. And down here I got Plaza of the Dead. I got the Lazarette Plaza there. I'm going to leave that one on so that we do have some of it here around. And over here, we've got the Brandenburg Gate running at 1,600 a week. If I switch that one off, what's going to happen? I've still got over there a fantastic fountain at 1,200 a week. Meteorite Park is 16 a week. And then we've got here the Sky Tower. Actually, the Sky Tower, I think, that's a mod. And it does have a very high power. This one does. If I switch that one off, that one's... I don't remember what it was. But if I switch that one off, yeah, boom, look at that. Right? That affects a huge area. That one does. So I'll switch that one back on, and kaboom, right? That goes right across the city. That one tower there makes a significant difference to the majority of the city. So that Sky Tower is probably the single most important one that we've got. I can go over here then. I can turn off the Lazarette Plaza without having to worry too much. The rest of them are switched off. That one there is costing us a very minimal amount. And then over here we've got... that tower is 120. See, further away from it, I don't really want to be turning stuff off. The statue right there. See, that one's okay. Still affected by the Sky Tower there. The Sky Tower, that has had a massive impact across the entire city. Almost the entire city. Over this side, we don't really have a great deal, but there is some. So that's the leisure. Unique buildings there. And then we've got parks and plazas over here. And my goodness me, we've got an awful lot of dog parks and stuff like that that is keeping... well, you'd hope that it would be keeping these people happy, but it doesn't seem to be. There still seems to be an awful lot of miserable people around here. What about that one? Wow, okay. The floating cafe is 400. I'm going to turn that one off. Even though it's going to make people a little bit miserable. And then we can have a look around here. So we've got some parks and plazas and stuff like that. Got the beach volleyball court right there. That one can go off. And then what have we got? The skate park. The riding stables can go off. We'll leave that one. And then over here I've got a botanical garden. That one can switch off. Generally speaking, around this area, though, it's still pretty good. We're doing alright, I think. Right. So now, we're going to go into the leisure one, and we've got right here, this here is the parks and plazas, that's 4,000. And then we've got the unique buildings right here. I'm going to reduce the funding for the unique buildings by half. And I'm going to take a look now and see what the result of that is. It's leisure right there. Okay, so we've got unique buildings. And it has had a bit of an impact, like on these over this side. It's not that much of an impact. But it has had some, hasn't it? This has been reduced a little bit. Okay, I think that's actually a bit more detrimental than I thought it would be. So I'm going to just bring that... I'm going to put that on 80%. There, and 80% there. So we'll run that on 80%. Next, we're going to have a look... Right, healthcare we don't want to touch. We don't want to interfere with healthcare. That's going to have to stay up quite high. Trash. Let's have a look at trash coverage and see how we're doing with that. See what that's doing with people. Barely covering the city up here anyway. There are big areas that it's not covering at all. Some areas are being covered a little bit. So we've got some dead recycling centers that we want to shut down. Most of them are already shut down. I've got an incineration plant there. I've got another recycling center right there. And that one can stay running. And you're already down. Okay. And over this side, I got 2 recycling centers, both of which are still collapsed, so they can both go. And then... Right, these other buildings, yeah, they can just stay like that. Right. So if I've got that on garbage, this area here is all being covered, and here we've got limited coverage. We've still got no power over there. That's fine. We can live with that. We've got limited coverage down here. So next up, let's go into our budget panel, and we'll see what happens when we reduce the garbage coverage all the way down like that. Straight back onto garbage. Less coverage on there. No coverage at all over here. And I'm... Right. Keep a close eye on this side, because it might be because we had no coverage over here for garbage that it lost. I suspect that it was a combination of everything. One, the increased taxes, but then also the reduced coverage for all of the garbage. So let's... I know what I can do. I know how we can measure this properly. If we go here, look, you can sort of see they're just able to come out a little bit. So if I then go to the economy and I put these up to 75% on garbage during the day and during the night, like that, and then I go back and take a look, it's now come out a little bit. It's covering all of this zone here. Poor side is now all being covered except for a little bit up there. It's not great. It's not ideal. But we are now covering the majority of it on a 75% budget, which I think is a slight improvement. We're barely covering this area here anyway. Let's run it at this, and we'll see what this is like. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it's not. What about police coverage? We've got crime right now. We want to have a look at crime. Policia. Let's have a look. That police headquarters right there is a collapsed building that is no good to us. And then right next to it is the medical clinic. And that is a crematorium right there. So we don't want that one. I've got a police headquarters there at 1600. But I don't... Oh, I've got another one down there. Right. Well, I'm actually thinking that we could just reduce the budget for the police. If we reduce the budget down a little bit... How are they going to cope? I got one there. That one's done. I don't have... Right, look at this. I've got one there and I've got one there for police coverage for the whole of Poorside. I suspect that our crime rate at the moment is kind of alright. But I don't give it much hope of holding out under prolonged periods of time. So... Let's just take a look in the budget a minute and see if we can reduce the police funding by a bit. We want to go here and police department. Let's first of all reduce it down to 75 and just see what happens there. I don't know if this is going to be the right thing or not. Yeah, yeah. Very, very well done. I'm running out of money. It's already, I've got a big chunk of this area that's not really getting any coverage, and crime rate is already starting to increase. It's gone up 7% already. Almost instantly went up to 7%. I've got good coverage over there for crime. I think we can do this. I think we can... We'll leave it on that for a little bit, and we'll see how that copes with it. Still on only 63,000 people, so it's very, very slow building back up again. I can't believe how ridiculously fast everybody left the city. That was, proper insane, wasn't it? So then we want fire coverage. Now this one, this is disaster coverage as well. We're already fairly limited. There's big chunks of the city where we don't have sufficient fire coverage anyway. Big chunk. I mean, over here, we're doing really well. We've got loads of fire coverage there. But there are points in the city, like here, we've got the fire... There's the helicopter depot right there. I think I might shut that one down for now. And... What else have we got? Right there, I've got a fire station. That's 1,400 a week. I've got another one over there, which is 1,400 a week. I've got a small fire station up there. I think I'll stop that one there. Switch that one off. It's cost me a little bit around this side. They're saying that they're miserable, but they've actually got coverage over there anyway, so I think they're going to be okay. Right, it's not seriously impacted them at all, I don't think. And then this one down here, I'll shut one of those off. Actually, that's not a good idea. That one we want to leave on. See, that's that's actually had quite a significant impact on the valley. So I kind of want to leave that one as he is. And then looking over this side, I've got... that firehouse is already off anyway. So then I'm looking in here. I've got a firehouse right there. I've got a big firehouse there, and I've got 2 small ones here. So there's not a lot happening there. I've got no fire protection at all over here in the forestry area, which is really, really bad. I got nothing at all. That one's waiting to be rebuilt. That one we've already dealt with. Why does it do that? So yeah, that's really bad. And then coverage over here is appalling at the best of times. We just don't have the coverage over here. I'll turn that one off there. I'm not making any changes to fire. Fire is staying as it is. We can't afford to make any changes to the budget for fire. So then we've got public transportation, and that's transport right there. This is just kind of giving us what this is. I don't think this makes like very much of a difference to the city as a whole. If I reduce the number of trains, is that going to make a difference? I mean, it doesn't seem to make a big difference on the value of the thing anyway. So we've got 38,434 that we had. So we just want to let that one tick down a minute. 38,434. It's gone down to 33,294. So we've saved 5,000. That's it. Just 5,000 monies on there. We're still getting 900 people a week now. And we're down to minus 130,000. So we get it. Things do seem to be improving. We do seem to be getting there very, very slowly. But it's taking its sweet time, isn't it? Now, the next thing I'm going to start doing is I do want to make sure that some of these buildings are just houses. Like, that is... It's got those over it for anything that's not just a house. So I'm going to start going through now and removing some of these collapsed buildings that have been searched. Because almost all of them now have been searched. I don't think there are any left that haven't been searched. So by doing this, it should actually encourage more people to come along and actually start building. At least this is what I'm hoping. We get more houses springing up here because obviously they prefer not to have all of this rubble everywhere. Go through there like that. I don't want to do those two. But if I go through doing this, I'm throwing up houses here for a pastime. This is brilliant. Yes, we've still got the bits of rubble on the named buildings, but those can stay. Those can stay until we can afford to rebuild. So just start going through like this. All of these happy smiley faces that are coming up. Which means that they'll start rebuilding more. We'll start getting lots of rebuilds. You out there. Just get rid of you a second. So we've got the Sphinx of Scenarios. 2,500 a week, that one is. That one's going. That'll save us a little bit of money. And we've got a post office there. And then over here, that one's already done. That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. But look at this. This is really good. I've got a load of buildings now throwing up really fast. And still 700 a week coming in. I think we need to work on Poorside, actually. I think Poorside is going to kind of be one of the crucial areas. I've got some over here. We've got... Actually, a lot of this is people, isn't it? Let's have a look at the zoning. So, yeah, this is all people here. And then we've got industrial and... that's industrial there. And that's commercial over there. So, if I'm going to start working this area here. I'm also going to get rid of those. So we come in here. Let's just do this one here first. I want to just get rid of them like that. Go like that. And that should encourage a few commercial buildings to be rebuilt just up here. Don't need loads of them. I also got to be careful that I don't remove too much. We can't afford to remove too much. Get rid of them. There we go. And that one can go as well. Plus those down there. Disconnected power grids. Yeah. And you. And you, and you, and then that one around that little loop there. Okay, so then we can start working on this bit here. Just pulling down some of these. some of the actual one. We don't want those buildings. It's just these here. So we like get rid of some of these here, and then that's going to encourage the rebuilding a little bit faster, because obviously they don't want to rebuild next to abandoned buildings and collapsed buildings. They don't like them. So this is improving the neighborhood by a substantial amount, which will then encourage them to start coming back and building again. At least I hope it will. Get rid of that one up there. And we're going to just work through now and do this little zone. I'll get rid of you and you and you and you. Let's have a look. We got one there, and then those, and that one. You. Keep coming down through and doing these. We've got garbage piling up. I think we'll have to go and change the garbage thing fairly soon. Maybe put the budget back up for the garbage. I think there's a lot that we can do about that. I think we're just going to have to let it increase as rapidly as we possibly can. Come back round there. More people seems to be the answer here. Look at how fast these buildings are going up now, though. I got commercial, I got housing. They're piling in at the moment. But we've reached minus 100 million. We've actually gone past the minus 100 million point, which is not a bad accomplishment, really. 100 million in debt. And I'm genuinely starting to believe that we are not going to be able to do this. I really am, because we sort of managed to get back into, you know, get our budgets sorted out, and then everything collapsed because nobody wanted to live here. And that was for multiple reasons, so it turned out. Land values dropped, and everybody rushed off again. You'd think they'd stay here and ride it out, so that they would have, you know, future investments. Stay here and invest in the future. You'd be able to make a fortune. But nope, no forward thinkers. Not a one of them. They all abandoned ship and left. Very disappointed with them all. So we've got more space. Right, I'm not going to make any more space for a minute. We'll just leave that bit. We've got a huge chunk of space right there, which is going to encourage a lot more growth, I'm hoping. I've got... Ooh. What have we got? Not enough buyers. I need more commercial zoning. That's what we're going to want now. So if I go back into here and get rid of some more of these in the commercial zones, like this, that will hopefully encourage more commercial buildings. Because those are the ones, the commercial buildings are the ones that buy up the other stuff, aren't they? I think they are. You and you and you right there. And then we've got a whole line of them along here. I'm going to leave that line for a minute so that I don't have like a disconnected power or anything, because that's going to end up being really difficult. And then in here, this is the organic area in here. So I'll also get that one up and running. I'll clear everything down through there and this way as well. Got one there. So I'll do this in 2 pieces in here. Get rid of that. So we've got 2 sections up through the middle there. I'll do this one final section here. We've run out of time for today's episode. Oops. Okay, I actually demolished one that was useful there. That wasn't a good idea. Yeah, we have run out of time for today's episode, so we'll be back and we'll carry on with this again in our next episode. Hopefully, we will actually be able to start spinning a profit again in this city. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. If we can just get back to a decent continuous profit in this city before we finish up the series, I will be very, very happy. That's what I'd like to do now. It's my goal at the moment, is to try to get back to being in positive money, on permanently positive money. And if we can get to that point, I'll feel that we've done extremely well. But anyway, oh yeah, don't forget to answer the poll. It should be in the top right-hand corner. Mouse over it. You should be able to get a little eye there, and you can answer which game would you like me to go to next. I do need to take a break from this one for a while. We've been playing this for a very long time, so we will come back here. Whether we come back to this map or we decide to go to a brand new map, I don't know, but we'll wait and see. So do you want me to play Cooking Simulator, Thief Simulator, or the Civilization game, or that new one, the Colonists, which is basically settlers with robots instead? So it's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote up in that top right hand corner. If you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well, that would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar, goodbye, and see you later.